Hello and welcome to Chaotic Neutral Games. We are going to be playing some Numenera today. I once again have forgotten to script my start, so I've entirely forgotten everything I'm meant to be saying here. How are we all doing?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah, good weeks.
Excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing where we're going.
Excited to get into
Yes.
Purple Tree Land.
Love
Yes,
Purple
indeed.
Tree Land.
Well, if you haven't seen already, the name of this chapter is Beyond, so we'll see what that means later.
Beyond purple is ultraviolet, and that's show over. We've finished. Well done, everyone.
Okay, cool.
Ah,
I will, cut the stream then. See you.
Spoiling the ending.
Oh no, spoilers! Spoilers for the Spectrum.
Well, it would be quite impressive if you could spoil the ending, because I have not written it yet.
that's what you think.
I plan about 10 minutes ahead of where we are, so
Don't
I've
worry,
got
because it
plans for the
takes us
first
at least a couple of hours to get there. So.
yeah, that's true. I only need to plan 10 minutes at a time for a session.
I'm pretty sure none of the viewers suspect that this is a highly scripted
Absolutely, we've been in this for weeks.
show. From your side, it might be from us.
We had
Even all the interruptions and talking over each other, it's all scripted. It's all perfectly
We had a dress
rehearsed.
rehearsal
The
for
choreography
every
is
time we
just
talk over each other.
Spot on.
Even this now, when we're talking about how it's scripted, has been tightly scripted. It's all
I am
very
poised.
We don't have jobs. This is what we do all week. We just like run through it. Until
I'm sorry. Look, we did this in rehearsal. You shouldn't say that, Danny. I thought we were omitting that line.
Damn it, I got the wrong script.
You're sipping. No, you're sipping at a wrong time. You do that in 37 seconds. You're mucking this all up.
Damn it!
37
Can we start again?
intervals.
Can we have the
Okay,
intro and start again?
Can we get?
I tell you what we can do. We can jump into the ninth world and roll some titles. Welcome back. Last week, you found yourselves halfway up a cliff. You knew how you got there. You didn't know why or the actual mechanic, or indeed where you were, because the sky outside didn't match the sky you saw before. It was much, much later in the day than you expected. It took you a full couple of days to make your way down, nailing pitons made from the salvaged scrap of the room that brought you here. Letty managing to just walk down and hammer some pitons in. There was a bit of a scrape halfway down where Trenton got blown off by a couple of pitons that were loose. Eventually, Cleege and Mazir managed to pull the rope taut to pull Trenton back on. And then Letty pushed the thing you were actually meant to collect off the edge. Crater in the ground. About a day after that, you were walking through this forest of the Clock of Carla, where you found out you were in, and came across a strange figure. This figure came closer and turned out to be very friendly. Red skin, yellow eyes, fish-like on the side of their head. They as soon as they saw you, came up and were very chatty, very happy to see another living person. You found out they were called Nimchek, and you found out that they were of Argellan, one of the visitants, one of the non-human sentients around the Ninth World. So you decided to join camps and head to Wislayn, the only town on the way out. There was a few more days of walking. Honestly, very pleasant. The weather didn't change at all. It was a nice breeze and a nice warmth the whole way. It's beautiful. And then over the hills on the second day of travel, you heard singing, beautiful, ethereal sounds that seemed to be coming from these strange rhinoceros, triceratops-esque creatures with biomechanical eyes. You found their herdsman and chatted a while, and were told that Rhodes, this herdsman, was in the employ of some traders who were indeed going to be heading out of the Clock of Kala and across the beyond. So you pressed on to Wislayn, which turned out to be a purple crystal tree or polyp or something, this branching crystal structure, which at the touch of a finger you were popped inside. Nimchek's waiting outside because he didn't want to leave what the big thing they were bringing along. And when you were inside, you spotted the Merianoake family store, and after a small discussion with a slightly bemused resident of Wislayn, you went over and started you struck up a conversation with the proprietor of said stall. And that is where we will join you with this 19-ish-year-old ginger buzzed hair guy. He's got green eyes and kind of smart look in them as he watches Letty looking over the goods on the table. This stall is as ramshackle as the rest of the town, because in Wislayn there's no weather, so there's no need for any sturdy buildings. He looks at you and says, "Well, is there anything you want to buy? We've got to pass time before my mum gets back and we can actually talk business, but I've got some interesting stuff."
Well, you seem like a sharp fellow indeed, a sharp fellow with a good grift and a good word. Tell me, while I'm looking at a few of these bits and pieces, do you gamble, my dear friend?
Ooh, now gambling's a question. It depends if I know the odds or not. Is it a game I'm familiar with, or are we just talking?
I'm talking in generalities. What's the local flavour of games around here? What do people like to play?
Oh, I'll be honest. Nobody around here is any fucking fun. They're all boring. Shouts out to and a couple of heads turn and then go back around their business. Yeah, you'd expect, for being like the gateway to the rest of the world, they'd be a bit more interesting. But apparently, no. They just bring some traders in, and I guess if we'd brought some food or something, they would have had some, but they didn't want any of this. Again, pointing at the weird collection of objects.
Well, that's a shame, because it is very hard to scam an honest fellow. Never mind. Well, if you would like a game of something later, I'm very good at a 3-card Monte, shell game, anything you care to play. Odds, I'm not so much with numbers, but with the physicality of dice and games like that, I'm very au fait and keen. What have you got here then?
Well, we've got wonders from the beyond and beyond. All sorts of strange little objects. Some of them may be useful to. I think I've pegged you as an adventurer. Am I wrong?
What gave it away?
the swagger, honestly. The swagger. Well, we've got... how about this? And hands you a feather. If you put this in your hat, you can change your eyes to whatever colour they want to be. Whatever colour you want them to be. How's that sound?
I've not got a hat particularly.
Oh, I can sell you a hat, of course.
Ah,
He's
that's
good.
how they get you.
He's good.
That's a good grift. That's a good grift right there.
The girl who's sat behind sketching something in a book just kicks him in the back of the leg, buckles slightly, shoots a look back.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your sales, but when you say gateway, what do you mean?
Well, Wislayn, this wonderful, wonderful place you see here, it's pretty much the only town for about 2 weeks if you're heading outside the clock.
Okay, and why is it in a purple crystal tree?
I'll be perfectly honest, no idea. I presume they found it and they just found it safe and then got used to the safety and became boring.
You wouldn't happen to have any maps of, like of the clock, and then the beyond, and then the beyond, the beyond, the beyond.
My sister here, my wonderful sister here. She is a cartographer extraordinaire. She can draw whatever. She's been tracking our travels and been pulling up maps of all these strange places. For someone such as yourself, sir, nudges her. She puts away her book and reaches under the thing and brings out a fair few kind of vellum-ish scrolls. She unties and pulls out on the table. And they are beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. You're not entirely sure how good they'd be as cartographers' maps, but they are beautiful. Showing, indeed, the Clock of Carla, the beyond, the area beyond the Black Riage, which is the strip of mountains down the centre, which splits the Steadfast, the civilised area of the world, of course, from those brutes out in the beyond who scratch by a living. It's a very steadfast way of thinking about things.
Seems right, though, somehow. Well, this is beautiful. So, where are we on this map?
We're here, and points in the top right, where this huge stone monolith stands. We're right there. Points at the end of a cut in the monolith, labelled the Shear.
Wow, okay. And where's the next nearest town?
Next nearest town would be Nauru. It's on the other side of the Shear.
Okay.
I'm Alia, by the way.
Oh,
Hi.
oh, I'm terribly sorry. I'm Cleege. It's so terribly lovely to meet you, Alia. This is really very fine work. So you're saying this town is 2 weeks travel by foot?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Okay. And then after that, the next town from that would be.
It depends if you want to go westwards or southwards. Southwards, you'd be crossing the jagged wastes, and that'd be quite a bit longer. But eastwards, it's another week or so, maybe. It would be Rashid after that, yeah.
Wow.
Is this
And
good?
you've travelled all these places yourself?
Well, we haven't actually gone that way yet. We came up south through the jagged wastes, which I said was a bad idea. And the brother goes, "Don't look at me. It wasn't my idea."
What made it a bad idea exactly?
Well, I mean, the name's a bit of a clue, I'll be honest. There's not much there to be gained. We thought there might be something interesting we could find and then sell on, but all we got was brings up a bag with a handful of like glittery dust. It's pretty, but honestly, we can't really find much of a use for it.
Intriguing.
Can I scan that just to see what it's made of?
Yeah.
And see if it's any useful.
So
I
what
think
does this look like when you scan it?
I'll just tap my glasses at it. I don't think there's anything that's obvious. Actually, no, I don't think there's anything particularly obvious to other people.
Okay.
I think it's probably just like a little mass spec or something.
Okay, we're going to call this a difficulty 1 to keep it secret if you want to.
Sounds good. It's 2.
So yeah,
Let's go on the game.
the salesman kind of pulls the bag back and says, "Ah, sir, what are you doing there?"
I was just intrigued. You found this in the jagged wastes, and there isn't much out there, and you have a whole bag of is it just glitter?
Well, as far as we can tell, it's sand ground down from old installations made of some kind of glass. We think
Silicon
could have beautiful properties.
Could do. Okay. So question to you, Ed. What does a shin get you in like this world? Because I have 4. Does that get me a meal? Or
A shin would get you. I'm gonna have to look this up because shins are like surprisingly large amounts of money.
there are right.
Yeah, I think a weapon is about 5 shins thereabouts.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, one shin might get you a day's worth of meals, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. And did my scan not work at all, or it just wasn't secret?
He pulled it away before you could finish your scan.
Okay. I'd be very, very intrigued in having a closer look. I might be interested in buying it. I work in an institute, I'm a student. I study these things.
All right.
Could be very interesting for people who want more exotic artifacts and exotic goods.
Could you enlighten us as to what it's about? Are you able to?
I could absolutely. I could find out what it is. And don't even need to touch it.
Yeah. Looks at his sister. She goes. He smiles and like holds the bag open for you.
Take him at his word, and I will scan away and just try and figure out, what it's made of.
Yes, yeah, it's
and whether it's expensive, worth something.
Yeah, it's an unusual material. It's a kind of synth, so plasticky kind of thing. You reckon it could be worked like glass if you melted it down, but beyond it being kind of pretty, there's not much to it. It wouldn't be more sturdy. It's basically just sand.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty sand.
Unfortunately, sir, what you have is, as you suspected, ground down bits of glass and old installations that are just now dust. It does look nice though.
Pretty dust. See?
Pretty dust. Yeah. Perhaps used for cosmetics or things like that, decorations. But
Hiding in birthday cards.
Balloons. Things like that would be nice, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any use.
I'll see if Alia can make anything interesting out of it.
And also, I won't tell anybody that that's what it is. You can put your own spin
you're a bit
on
of a
it.
scoundrel, sir.
I know trade. I know how this works. Don't necessarily need to tell the whole truth. So, it looks pretty. You can lay it out in a nice, presentable form, and you might be able to sell it on for a few more shins than it's possibly worth. But it's possibly only worth maybe half a shin for the whole bag.
Well, it's pretty nonetheless. I appreciate that, sir. I really, really appreciate that.
In the meantime, do you have anything? We're going to be spending 2 2 weeks outdoors at least. Do you have any survival equipment, any shelter?
Oh, aye. We have some wonderful tents we managed to pick up from a nomadic group. They were just south of the jagged wastes. We managed to pick these up from, and goes to the side and picks up a couple of canvas rolls. They go up very quickly and they come down even quicker.
Are they any better than what we have already? Because we have bedrolls, don't we?
They're basic canvas tents.
Yeah.
He's claiming they're like quick pitch things, but when you look at them, they're just like pipes that fit together.
Nice.
It's
Can you
like
demonstrate how do you put them up?
Oh, absolutely. Opens it up, takes out one of the tubes, and you know modern tents with the elastic and the tubes all come together. He does that and fits together, and just basically pegs it up. Beautiful. And then all you
how
need to
many
do
people-
is peg down the edges.
How
There
many
you go.
people do we think we would fit in one tent?
2 probably, 3 at a stretch, but 2 with gear.
Could be useful.
A shin each for these beautiful things. Or, of course, being tradespeople and adventurers yourself, we are, of course, open to barter.
Yeah, obviously. So, your parents, do they drag you along everywhere you go?
Drag us along. I am offended. I am a businessman in my own right.
Oh, obviously, but still, it must be wearying to be constantly on the move and selling and then moving and selling.
We've known not much other life. We've stayed. I think the longest we've stayed in a place is about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's just a pleasure to be able to see so much of the Ninth World.
Oh, how intriguing. So,
Where-
any other notable places you've been?
Oh yes. We fairly recently, last year or so, were in the Torment. It's a beautiful place.
The
It's,
Torment.
Yeah, just the other side of the Clock of Kala. I say just the other side. It's several hundred miles away. It's a beautiful place with a strange plant-based life, sentient plant-based life, and we bumped into more than one person who were apparently the off-cast shells of some god somewhere that apparently arrives fully formed and then leaves the body behind just as a person, and they just appear fully formed, confused as to where they are. They were very strange people, but very interesting to talk to. And in fact, we have a bloom from that area which smells wonderful. It's got some beautiful colours that you wouldn't normally see in a bloom. Purple stems and green petals. Beautiful thing. Very resilient as well. Can handle travel on the road. Can I interest you?
Oh, I mean, yes, I'd love to see it. Obviously.
Of course. Reaches under, and it's a really ugly flower.
Does it
pretty
do anything,
attractive.
or is that it?
It is a beautiful flower. I believe the magnetic resonances in this area are causing it to wilt slightly. It was looking better outside, I would swear on my life.
Maybe it needs a little bit of sunlight or something. Do you think?
I would assume so, something like that.
That's very interesting. But the torment is in the opposite direction to the jagged face.
Yes.
Yes. You really have travelled very extensively. Have you done much time in the Steadfast itself?
Aye, we come through the Steadfast once every other year or so. We are due on our return trip. We're heading to Key, actually. Have you ever been to Key?
I personally have not. I don't know about my companions.
I have not. Unfortunately, my travelling is fairly limited to Navarine, where am I from?
Yes.
Navarine and the Scorpion Coast. The Scorpion Coast? Am I getting this right?
Scorpion's Reach.
Thank you. So sorry.
No? It's all
Scorpion's
nonsense
Reach,
words,
my
so-
whole life for me. From Ishlav originally. Speaking of which, I have a genuine Ishlavian artifact here.
Oh,
And she
do
pulls
tell.
out of his sleeve a little rock. It's sort of like a metal sphere, like loads of holes. She like gazes suddenly into the middle distance when she pulls it out, shakes her head and is like, "This very rock gives you a view of the endless sea of Scorpion's Reach. Anytime you touch it, it's a delight to the senses, specifically
May I?
the sense. Yeah, you may have one touch." And she keeps a very hard hold on it as she
Yep.
passes it over.
Yeah, a gentle touch. I believe this oddity doesn't work 100% of the time. Am I wrong?
Oh, interesting. All I have is that it's an object full of holes. Gives those touching it a brief glimpse of an endless sea.
Okay, fair enough.
But it doesn't work
works
for a
then.
very long time.
And yeah, you see the same vacant expression, like they defocus for a second in his eyes, and they refocus. That really is a beautiful sight. Are you sure I can't offer anything in trade? We've got the feather, we've got wonderful hat. We could find something else, I'm sure. Yes. Picks up a little glass ball. Now this is a wonderful thing. You being a person of games might appreciate this, and puts it on the table. And it does nothing. Now watch this. And it starts rolling around in a circle. Beautiful, beautiful thing.
Okay.
It just rolls around. 'Cause I can do that without clicking my fingers. And she just lifts a hand and it starts to roll around the table.
Yeah, eyes widen at that. Oh, right. The sister kind of peeks her head up at that, and pokes the kid who was sat in front of the thing. Says, "Go and see if Mum's." And shoves him off. This kid, kind of olive skin, longish, shaggy, blonde, sandy blonde hair, runs off in the direction of the inn.
So, I realise I've once again been very. So you're Alia. I assume this is your brother?
Yeah, that's Aldo. Aldo Merianoake at your service.
Oh, indeed, pleasure to meet you. And who was that young whippersnapper?
Yes, the scamp is Merrin. He's yeah. I guess ward is probably the right word. Yeah. He doesn't speak much, but yeah, it's good to have an extra pair of hands at times.
Is there anything of interest on this table? Is it just all pretty much junk?
To you, it's
Yeah.
pretty much junk.
Yeah.
Like there's some basic foods and tools and stuff which might be useful, but yeah, it's all fairly mundane except for a few oddities.
Okay. I won't even say goodbye. I'll probably just wander off.
Okay.
I'll lose interest. Good day. And I'll head off into the square,
Okay.
looking around, looking up, looking down, trying to just get a feel for inside the purple tree.
For a sun. Like,
Uh,
is there any sunlight?
No, it is a uniform brightness. It is a perfectly diffuse, kind of bluish, kind of quite cold light from the purple crystal walls. It looks like you're in a huge cylinder, basically. It just goes up until it kind of gets lost in the distance, like the haze you get at a certain distance.
You can see the Mazia is like, she's quite uncomfortable here. And she sort of keeps glancing at wherever we came in from. I assume it's. Yeah, is there obvious where? Is there like the center of the tree still? Is that where
No.
we came from, or?
No, you just appeared in the center.
Yeah, she probably just keeps glancing back there, and probably doesn't want to get too far away from it.
Letty's going to offer that Odyssey for 3/10 and a week's worth of supply.
Oh, that is a steep ask you've made of me.
This is a jewel of Ishlav here. Genuine.
That may be, but for all it does, and it does beautiful things, 3/10 and a week's worth of supplies?
Sometimes a thing is valuable not just because what it does, but what it is. And this is a jewel of Ishlav stolen from the very... Well, I probably shouldn't have said that bit, but it belonged to a duchess.
Give me a persuasion. We're going to call it difficulty 4.
Cool. I'm going to put a level of effort into this.
Okay, intellect roll.
So she's sort of like, and this is from Ishlav before. You know the story of Ishlav. 20 years ago, the entire city was leveled. What do I need to meet?
If it's difficulty 4 and you put in an effort, it's difficulty 3, so it's 9 or more.
Okay, that was a 6.
A story is worth a couple of tenths, maybe. But 3/10 in supplies, I can't do. I could do a tenth in the supplies.
Excuse me, young man. May I have a word with my
Oh, by all
colleague
means, by all
for a
means.
moment? What do you mean you stole it from a duchess?
Stories are stories, my dear. My dear Clegy. I'm spinning a yarn for the young gentleman.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been in prison these last 10 years. There's no way I could have done that.
I mean, again, I'm slightly at a loss as to how you have this. Hold on. Mzia.
Yes. Yes.
Did you happen to know that Letty had this item?
Yes. It was in her sleeve.
Excellent. Did you actually check whether she was meant to have this item?
Well, she already had it, so sort of figured that couldn't be any harm, and it's very nice, and she's had other things, and really it's been very helpful. And no, I did not.
Fine. Well, and Clegy very much lowers his voice to a very, just barely audible whisper and just goes to both of them. Now, play along. Well, I think it's absolutely outrageous. This is obviously stolen from the Duchess number 3 of Ishab, the one who went crazy and blew down a whole city. You stole this precious gem from her, and you dare to try and sell it on? I mean, how could you? That would be worth, I don't know, 100, maybe 200 shins in the steadfast? What are you thinking?
No, listen, we're in a tight spot, so obviously we're not going to get 200 shins. But look, everyone for themselves.
Fine. I mean, it's unacceptable that you have it. The fact you have it, fine. The fact you want to sell it for so little is criminal. I mean, I'm just going to have to walk away. You do what you feel you must. And Clegy sort of walked off.
Give me that deception roll, though, before you walk off.
Come on, Helen.
Can I give her an asset, because A, I'm trained in deception, and B, it's the genuine frustration with visuality in your voice.
Absolutely, get that asset.
I I am trained in social interactions, which can include charm, secrets, and intimidation. So presumably persuasion is part of that. It is a social interaction after all.
This is deception.
Oh, come on, that's still a social interaction.
But the thing is, you're not interacting with Aldo.
Fine.
You're interacting with Letty to kind of let Aldo listen in.
Okay, fine. So what's my difficulty?
Diff 4 down to 3 because of the asset from Letty.
Oh, we'll just go for it. And it is a 3. Well done.
We are rolling so well tonight.
Okay,
Can I give
bye-bye.
you an XP to reroll that?
You can.
Or do you?
Hold on, I'm just gonna have a bit of late inspiration, if that's all right.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
What's the detail you're adding to this story to make it extra convincing?
I mean, and I'm gonna just. What have I got?
Can I assist with here? And I'm sort of Zena has been fairly quiet, and she's going to look at that and says, "Wasn't that taken from the Royal Archives or something?" And try and add some like more flavour in that. This is a big heist.
I'll allow that for the late inspiration.
Thank you. Loving some late inspiration. So I get everything plus an asset. So now it's down to 6, yeah, or more.
6 or more.
Oh, it's a 6.
Oh,
Clutch.
Yeah, Aldo leans on the stall, looks you up and down. Cleege, kind of walking away in a huff, looks Letty up and down, says, "Now I know most of that was bullshit, but some of it rings true. 3/10.
3/10, 3 days of rations.
I'll shout across the square. A hat! Get the hat!
3/10, 3 days, or 3/10, 2 days and a hat."
3/10,
hat.
2 days and a hat for my dear friend.
what does the hat look like? Not in character. What sort of hats have they got on display?
It's kind of a Robin Hood-esque thing, pointed
amazing.
at the front. Definitely the kind of thing you'd want to put a feather in, of course.
I'll throw in an extra shin for the feather.
Absolutely. Hand out.
She shakes him by the hand, palms the shin into his hand.
Beautifully done. Pockets the shin, brings up the third tent on the pile, and picks out some of the less dusty rations. They're still not good, but they're not dusty at least. At this point, the kid comes back and kind of pulls on the sleeve of Alia and signs something to her, and she says, "Looks like Mum's meeting's gonna run a little bit long, so you can wait around, or I mean the pub's not bad for as boring as these people are. They make some good drinks, so might be worth a tipple, but yeah." Has anyone told you how to get out yet?
No.
Right, you just basically think of an exit and you're gone. It's weird. It makes sense when you do it, but it's a bit weird the first time. There's a bit of a trick to it.
Mazir is going to try and think of an exit.
Okay. I'm going to call this difficulty 2, intellect test.
Excellent.
Basically, after the first time you do it, you'll be able to do it. But
Like a magic
Three.
hat puzzle.
yeah, no, you keep
We're
thinking
rolling
of,
really well today, guys. This is.
You keep thinking of specific doors, like doors from childhood and like doors you've been through, and none of them are working.
Are you sure you just think of a door? Because I've got lots of doors and.
Not a door, like the platonic ideal of door. I don't know. It's weird. Like you've just got to think exit, like the concept of exit. It's strange.
What's a Platon?
Honestly, I've no idea. I've just picked it up somewhere. I think it's slang from somewhere north of the Crystal Skyfields, but sorry, Crystal Cloudfields.
Cleege, having obviously walked away dramatically,
Of course.
has sort of been keeping half an eye stroke ear on what's been going on, and has just decided to make his way to the pub, as part of his stropping off.
Yep.
Are there any other buildings to head for, or is it basically town square with market and pub that are obvious from where we stood?
Yeah, none of the buildings are obviously kind of shown because they're all kind of haphazardly put together, vaguely put together. Oh, and thank you for the raid, Ravenstar Cosplay.
Nice.
Pleasure to have you. We're playing Numenera, and we're inside a crystal tree. Currently trying
And
to figure
can't
out
get
how to
out.
Yeah. So yeah, the only one that's labelled is the inn, but you do get people coming in and out of various other buildings. It looks like one of them is perhaps a store of some kind, like a grocer's. One of them seems to be like pairs of people going in and then coming out and splitting off in different ways. Maybe some kind of courthouse or something, like a disagreement between tenants. But yeah.
Bob.
Okay. So,
Pub.
Cleege gets there first. And there's a decent amount of people in here. It's hard to kind of tell what kind of time of day it is, but you got in somewhere kind of mid-afternoonish. So it's a pleasant buzz going on. And scanning the pub, you can see a lot of people with downturned eyes, drinks, and just kind of slightly chatting to each other. In the far corner, you see a shock of ginger hair, grey running through it, a large guy, bald, and a figure in this diaphanous white gown that seems to be floating, the gown, not the figure, as they're sat across from each other, a metal face, beautiful features. Looks vaguely feminine, but the gown is so what's the word? Shapeless. It's hard to kind of tell. The face is the only real feature, and you can see they're both leant over. The ginger-haired woman is. And they're having quite an animated discussion while the gown just kind of stays and occasionally nods.
Is there a barkeep?
Yes, there's kind of a table, again, slapshod, just pints being poured and put out on the table for people to take. People seem to be kind of coming up and leaving behind trinkets and bits and pieces of money.
Good day. Might I ask you something?
You can ask, yes.
I am a visitor to these parts, and
Oh,
I
I can get you a better drink if you want.
oh no, I'm sure this would be absolutely wonderful drink, a beautiful beverage. I have no doubt. I was just wondering. I'd heard that the mayor of the town was in here, and I was wondering if you might be able to point them out.
Yes, the Ghostis acts as the mayor, pointing at the diaphanous white figure.
Ghostis.
I'm sorry, did you say the ghostess?
Ghostis.
Ghostis.
Yeah, she's in charge around here.
Okay. They look like they're in quite a conflab.
Yeah. They do, don't they?
Yes, they do. How would the Ghostis take to being interrupted, does one think?
I wouldn't do it.
Okay. Well, lovely. Can one sit anywhere?
Yeah?
Oh, marvellous. And I pop a little bit of coin on the
Yeah.
table and take it. I start taking one drink and see Trenton come through, pick up a second one, and go and find a table for us both.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of space, even though it's kind of fairly busy in. You find yourself a place in the corner. Do you want to be close to the discussion that's taking place, or kind of other side of the...
I'd quite like to be quite close. I'd like to be able to see them, definitely. But nice to be able to possibly overhear too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, easy enough to find a space nearby. They're on quite one end of quite a long table, and you just kind of take up the other end. The Thorn with the long ginger hair doesn't seem to spot you, but the big fella kind of looks and gives you a little grin out the corner of his mouth and sees you, and then goes back to discussions.
Trenton. I didn't want to interrupt. Apparently, the Ghostis, the figure in white doesn't like to be interrupted. Maybe. So, yes, we shall sit here and be patient.
Who is she?
The mayor of the town, apparently.
Well, she wouldn't like to be interrupted. Possibly thinks she's quite important. So,
Maybe.
what are they talking about?
I don't know. I'm talking to you. I can't really hear.
Shh.
Okay.
I'm gonna, I'll just... you got me a drink, didn't you?
Yes.
Is anybody eating?
Yeah, bits and pieces. Again, basically what they could throw together. Nothing's cooked, interestingly. It's all raw food.
Yeah, that's what I was really getting excited about. Okay, I'll sit and I will sit my pint and I will pretend if there's any posts on the wall, I'll read them intently, and at the same time, like very, very, listen hard if that's the thing that people can do.
Absolutely. So you're looking on these walls, and the inside of this building is actually a little more lively than a lot of the buildings, the outside of a lot of the buildings around here have been. There's some attempt at like spirals painted on the cloth of the walls. As you kind of tune into the conversation, you hear a voice where nobody's mouth is opening. Apelor has no claim to the share. That is still a part of Orgakala, and if he or his minions step foot in there, he knows of the consequences he shall face. And the woman replies, right, yeah, I get that, but can I not get a deal from you? Am I not able to do anything? I do have the authority. Right, and that's why I came to you. We have plans. George, show me the plan. The guy, George, whips out a sheet with quite interesting schematics you can kind of see out the corner of your eye. Difficult to see what they do. It will keep the Psalms safe, and we'll extract what we need, and they will return to be able to spawn for the next year. We're not going to harm them in any way at all. Ghostis says, I believe your intentions. I don't trust your skill. It's like, but we've proved we can do this. And it's kind of going back and forth. They seem to be arguing about rights to harvest something from a thing called the Psalm.
Yeah, do I know what that is?
Give me a roll. We're going to call this difficulty 6.
Oof.
Yeah.
I because I've now leveled up. Well, I haven't leveled up, but I've spent some XP, so I now have 2 levels of effort. Does that mean I can reduce it by 2.
Has that happened between sessions?
Yes, so I don't have
Yeah,
any.
it's not happened yet. It happens when you sleep.
Then I will put a single level of effort in.
Okay.
So I need to get 15,
15
given that
or
we
more.
haven't rolled over 10 yet. So here we go. 19!
Hey!
Double digits.
So yes, Psalm is like, Kingdom Phylum class, that kind of thing. It's a few levels above species, and it refers to a squid-like creature. So when they're talking about extracting stuff, you kind of imply ink, perhaps.
Is that all he knows about it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah.
There's squid-like things that make ink.
And we don't know who Apollo is.
Abalor, no, you do not.
Abalor.
And you can't even make a roll.
Okay.
While I'm here, can I do a recovery roll, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had plenty of time.
Can I allowed to do 2? Am I allowed to do my 1 action and my 10-minute one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
So yeah, you're hearing this discussion kind of come to a close at the end of your 10 minutes.
And I get the impression that she's more worried that they don't have the skill to extract whatever it is they're extracting, ink, whatever, from these creatures and allow them to spawn for next year without, I don't know, hurting them
Yeah,
or disturbing the ecosystem or something.
yeah.
While this is going on, can Mazia ask for a scrap of paper from Alia and Aldo?
Yeah,
Just like the edge of something.
Aldo tries to get you to pay for it, but Alia will basically tear a page out of her notebook and hand it over.
And she's going to say, and if I leave, where do I come out at the entrance to the tree, the same place?
Yeah, just by the...
Cool. And Mazio's going to draw a picture of a door and write exit on it, and then just try and think about that and see if she can
Give
think
yourself
her
an
way out
asset
of it.
for that roll.
All right, come on, more than 3 or more than 2. 16.
Yes.
There we go.
So yes, as soon as you've got that down and you look at it, you're gone.
Oh,
Like pretty much immediately. And outside, because I've got sound for outside as well. The wind is still blowing, and Nimchek is sat on their box, whatever it is. Looks up and says, "Ah, it is good to see you. I did not expect you out so soon."
no, just checking in, and it was horribly creepy in there, so I didn't want to be there anymore.
Not a fan of the closed ceiling.
There's no sun, and it's very weird. And you like the first thing that she did as soon as she came out was just looked like straight up at the sun and just sort of like enjoyed the feeling. Or if there, assuming that there was some sunlight out,
yeah,
she just enjoyed the feeling of the warmth on her face. And I wanted to check in. You all right? Nothing's happened. You good?
No, nothing has happened. I have just been listening to the Gallop Dog when they decide to sing. I've been watching Rhodes from a distance. He is a very, very gentle man, it seems.
Good.
Have you had any luck finding the Merianoakes?
Yes, some luck. We found the younger ones,
good,
but
good.
not the older ones. I think they're a bit busy. But we'll find it. I'm gonna have to go back in there because otherwise I'll be shouted at. But I was gonna say let us know if you need anything, but that would be hard to do. But we'll be back. We're not dead. And she's gonna then just touch the crystal tree thing and hopefully get whiz back. And once she is there, she'll go to the pub and see if she can find Gigi. And
Yeah, so to Letty, Mazia just drew an exit, disappeared for a bit, and then a few, 30 seconds later, comes back.
Yeah, Letty's sort of sat cross-legged next to the 3 tents, uncharacteristically waiting for you to return. And on the ground, instead of floating about a foot above it.
good, you're still there. Good. Pub.
Sounds good to me. Help me carry these.
So As you carry the tents into the pub, the Ghostis disappears. Just gone.
Ah,
White gown. And the big fella looks over at you and says, "Are you from outside as well, then?"
we are. You, Mr. Merianoake, I assume?
I'm George, and this is my lovely wife, Matilda.
Trenton, Clegy, lovely to meet you.
Yes, lovely to meet you.
I was wondering, you seem rather busy, but we wanted to perhaps secure passage.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Hang on, let me. Sorry, I've got to. George, write it down.
No hurry. It's fine.
George.
I can see you. You're very busy.
George, says
Sorry,
it
Ed.
as
What was the wife's name?
well. Matilda.
Matilda, thank you.
George and
Very
Matilda.
interesting thing you have there. Looks like it's some sort of blueprint of something.
My own design, yes. It's designed to keep some of the Psalms safe while we extract some ink, but apparently not up to the Ghostis' exacting standards, I guess. But this is beside the point. Rolls up. Yeah.
I was just going to say it'd be an honour to look at that, because just to be able to think through how you would extract something and then keep the same thing safe. I mean, I'm fascinated by that sort of stuff, and Trenton, I believe, would be equally interested in and possibly helpful in the situation.
You know a few things about machinery and electrical devices, and I might be able to help tweak it here and there to reach the Ghostis' high standards. I'm a big fan of high standards. I like them. I support her, her momentum and what she needs, and I'd love to be able to help you meet it and look after these Psalms.
George's mouth just kind of flaps a bit. He doesn't really know what to say. Matilda says, "Don't worry. My husband is the numbers man. I'll be chatting about any kind of business dealings, and it sounds like that might be an offer for some kind of payment for passage. Am I wrong?"
Sounds great to me. Where are you planning on heading next?
Well, first off, we're heading to Nauru, and then we should be going via Rashid, Undera. We'll probably be heading by the Osrin Woods to the Slant Milieu, and then from there across the Black Riage, Cedrin's Pass, down the river to Key, and that's where this leg of the journey stops, and we'll figure out where we're going from there.
Is that towards Scorpion's Reach?
Key is about 100 miles or so north of Scorpion's Reach.
Okay, brilliant.
I sort of look at Trenton, having looked at the map that the daughter had done. So I've got a vague idea where some of those places are, and then the other places have completely mystified me. So I'm like,
yeah, I guess I'd recognise Key, perhaps.
Yeah,
if it's,
you'd recognise Key.
but
You'd
that's
recognise
CrossFit.
Cedrin's Pass as well, probably.
Okay.
Which is a pass kind of in the south of the Black Riage.
yeah, yes, that sounds marvellous. That sounds exactly like the way we want to go.
Right, wonderful. We don't often take on passengers or people, but I mean, it sounds like you can offer some skill. At this point, Mazia and Letty walk in, and she kind of picks up on two more people who don't fit in. Are they with you as well?
Certainly are, and we're
Well,
all
that'll
very
have to
self-sufficient.
figure into the calculations, won't it?
4 people. We have tents.
4 people? You've got your own
Very
tents.
good
That's-
tents.
That's a point in your favour. You said you're good with machines. Would you mind? Takes the scroll off George, rolls it out. George is like, doesn't really want anyone else to look at it.
Don't worry, sir. I understand that be quite protective of your own devices and your own engineering. I've made many things myself, and I just want to. There's no point in wasting all the effort that you put into it. There's no point in going, 99% of the way. Let's make it as good as it can be. If you don't mind me looking.
Yeah, I suppose.
I get right into it. I'm poring over the designs, and yeah.
Yeah, give me some kind of roll for that. What kind of skills you got?
Right, I've got skilled in electrical machines, and then planning and organizing is the only other thing that I have.
Yeah, I think
it could be.
at least one of them would apply. So yeah, we'll call it one asset. What are you trying to figure out? Are you just trying to figure out how it works?
I'm trying to figure out how it works and any glaringly obvious kind of lack of efficiencies or
Yeah, absolutely.
any bits that are sharp that shouldn't be sharp when if I assume these are jellyfish kind of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, just where areas where I can make small tweaks and improvements.
We'll call this a difficulty 2 then.
Oh, she's difficult too. I was going to say, can I offer some help? But
Yeah, difficulty 2. I mean, that's only 6. When do you ever roll in 6? That's a 7.
It's difficulty
7.
2 down to a difficulty 1, so it would have been 3 or more. So
Okay.
you're all right.
7.
So yeah, it's a pretty basic thing. Can be just made out of wood. The idea is it scoops up some water and some squiddy things, and then kind of forces them into a very narrow place, which is meant to stress them out a bit. They ink, and then it releases and it plops out the other end. The ink is captured in the kind of water tank, and the water is evaporated to leave as much pigment as possible, basically.
Nice.
Pretty simple, pretty elegant. But you notice a few bits and pieces, like stressing the psalm out to ink is not pleasant. It won't be pleasant for them. It'll probably be safe for them. But yeah, it won't be pleasant. You might have a few ideas, but you're not entirely sure.
Yeah. I'll point out that I'll say, yeah. It might be a good idea that usually when most creatures release something like an ink or a pigment or a pheromone, it's usually a warning to the others. It might be a good idea to keep the others a little bit further away. And if we increase this section here and this section here, if we increase the length, it will just mean that the others won't get a signal quite so quickly, and they will be more conducive to squeezing through this area. And also, if you change this capacitor, if you tighten this, and, don't mind me saying this area can be completely reworked, and it will increase the ink extraction and the evaporation of the water. You might want to add a little bit of solvent to increase this as well, and you'll possibly be able to stress the creatures less. And that seemed to be the problem. I overheard she was getting quite loud, and stress the creatures less, and increase the rate that you get the ink back, and also these creatures are going to be probably inclined to come back for more eventually. It's a start, but I will continue to have a look at it and continue to ponder over the design, if you'd let me.
You see Matilda's been watching her husband's face the whole time, and there's this furrowed brow nodding, and she's looking at him, half a grin. He likes you. You're actually, got some skill in this, it seems.
I like to be useful.
Well, that seems like a perfectly good trade. If we can get this contract off the back of your design revisions, then I will very happily take you to Noru. And from there we can renegotiate, find out what's going on there. Just the four of you then, Mazir and Letty, what are you doing in the background? Are you grabbing drinks and joining, or are you just kind of...
I think Letty's having like, it's the first time I've been able to openly grift anyone and quite some time. My erstwhile jailer has just helped me in a fiddle game, and it's just it's a small victory, but it's a victory enough that she's sort of like offered to. Was that Sunshine? If I get us a little spirit, will you join me? On me.
Yes. Do they? What do you think's good here? Do they have anything?
I'd probably go for something bottled.
Smart. Yes. Yes, of course. Yes. She sees no problem with this. Possibly realizes that this might be something. Realizes that she doesn't have a problem with it, but knows someone who might. Glances to see if Clegie is paying any attention. Assuming Clegie is having this interaction, and Timothy's like, yeah, good, fine, good. And while she's doing that, she's gonna have a look around the people to see what sort of. You said that lots of the people seemed like fairly unhappy almost.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, not unhappy, just not happy. Not anything really.
Is that the sort of general vibe that it's all very meh?
Yeah. There's something
like the
about
colour
this
grey.
place, that seems to
Beige.
beige. Yeah, only a purple shade of beige. That should have been the chapter name. Purple shade of beige.
She'll go. Are there any conversations happening?
Yeah, there's plenty of discussions happening.
She'll go and see if she could listen in. Just while not. She's just wandering around. She's having a big old nose about, basically, seeing what sort of.
Where you
what
sit
sort
in
of
a pub
people.
and just kind of
Yeah.
let the other conversations wash over
Yeah.
you, figuring out what's going on. Yeah, there's a few people talking in the corner about field rotations. There's some talking about what the weather's going to do, i.e. nothing. There's a few who are actually chatting about a bard that came through about a year ago,
Oh,
and they're still
my
talking
hopes up
about
there.
it. And they were great, weren't they? Yeah, they were good. That's the conversation.
Mazia will go up to let him. It's pretty crap here. Well, quite relatively quietly. She's not completely socially inept. Pretty crap here. Why do people stay when they could just leave?
Letty hands you a very very small wooden bowl with an amber liquor in it. So probably because of these.
Is it any good? Asking Ed.
It's that kind of deep fruity flavour, but it's got a hell of a kick to it, and it's rough.
See.
Maybe you should get some mixers for this. Some fresh water with this, if you please.
Yeah. Brings out a tankard of fresh water.
So, Sunshine, what led you? I've never really had an opportunity to sit down with you. What led you into the career path of being my jailer?
Didn't have a lot of
You're particularly
choice.
enthusiastic about.
We are called to, we are called to follow orders, and these were my orders. I'm sure it is for the greater good, of course, and that we will both, of course, get something out of it that I haven't yet found, and that it will be beneficial. But you're very pleasant, and really, I can't see why you were jailed in the first place. That was probably in your notes, wasn't it?
I would have thought so. I haven't read them for a while.
Yeah. Why were you in prison? What did you do?
Well, maybe I'll need to have another one of these before I start talking about that.
Yeah. I'd like to say that I'd read your notes, but I didn't bring them with me. So they're a couple of 100, possibly 1,000 miles away. Which... well. Oh well. At least I've still got
Thousands of
this.
miles away.
She holds up the little device that connects your ankle bracelet to me, I suppose. And she said, yes. Yes, excellent.
I'm glad you've got that as well. Otherwise, I would be stock still, unable to move right now.
Or completely free, depending on if you got rid of it. I don't know how, though, so probably shouldn't have mentioned that.
Sure that's alright. I'm pretty sure there's not an unlocking mechanism on that thing.
You've spent multiple hours trying to figure out if there was, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, cheers. And sort of
Yes.
bash wooden cups together.
Yes, a dull clink as the wooden cups, and we cut back to the table where Matilda is hashing out the finer details of a contract, and she's getting George to scribble this down in official-ish language, putting together passage to Nauru. If you can engineer a situation in which they get the rights to fish these salmon and release them and all these bits and pieces, and she signs it herself, spins it round to you two.
Is Nimchek supposed to be coming with us?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just, I have two thoughts. I'm sorry. I don't mean
Oh,
to.
do tell me your thoughts.
I don't mean to be. I've been slightly distracted. First of all, I don't know much about Psalm. But, okay, so they ink when they are under stress.
Aye.
Do they ink at any other times?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know much about them. I just know they make good ink. Apparently the ones from this year, the ink is actually basically indelible, so...
Wow. I mean, one would think if you inked, you wouldn't just ink in stress. You'd ink for pleasure, too.
Maybe. I mean, if you can tickle a psalm until it inks, I'll take you anywhere you want to go.
That's quite a proposition, and one I will bear in mind. Anyway, I obviously this is great for the four of us, but I was
there's a but.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Like I said, my mind was elsewhere. This is great for the four of us. There is a fifth person who would also like passage across the beyond. He's got a rather substantial item that he needs to transport. I understand he'll be willing to work for transport. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure of what his skills are. He seemed to be pretty much up for anything.
Sounds like you don't really know this person very well.
Oh, well, we've only met in the last few days. He's a very sociable
Right,
chap.
in that case, I'm going to have to make a separate agreement with him.
That seems fair enough. Yes. The only issue is he couldn't come into Wislayn. He didn't want to leave his item behind.
Right.
And in fact, I don't know. Is it Rhodes? We met a lovely chap with such
you did meet
lovely
Rhodes
hair.
then. Yeah.
Yeah. Those animals there. Those creatures are so wonderful. Anyway, yes.
Pull a hell of a lot as well, actually.
So yes, he's out there. So if you would be able to go and create a contract with him, obviously, if there's anything I can do to help, ease the making of the contract, I will surely try. But obviously, that would have to be between him and you as to the.
Well, I might as well be heading out after we get this signed, so feel free to join me outside.
Well, I look at Trent and seem reasonable.
I'm going to quickly scan through the contract.
Yeah.
In fact, not. Yeah.
Very basic.
Okay.
I'm assuming Mizir Mizir might have eventually made her way over after her conversation with Letty, and she'll just sort of say to Trenton, "Does she know about the big prism thing that we're carrying that will stop floating soon?"
I'm sorry, did I overhear a big prism floating thing that will stop floating soon?
I don't know. Did you hear that?
You may have done. We do have an item to the four of us, and it's just part of our belongings. We just have a device that we carry around with us, and it's a power device that we need to take back with us. It's come a long way, and I say it's about yay big.
I would
But
like a persuasion roll. You are altering the deal.
we haven't signed the deal yet.
You haven't signed the deal yet, but it's been written. And it would just require more ink and another piece of paper. Which George seems quite reticent to give up.
I have no persuasion skills, surprisingly.
Can I help him with the persuasion?
Please.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So okay, do you want to just roll and tell you what I got? That's a 2.
That's great.
These are terrible dice rolls tonight.
I got a good one.
Dice jail.
I got one good
Putting the
one.
dice back in dice jail.
Yeah.
I'm switching the dice.
You know what?
Actually, can I re-roll? Can I
Yeah,
spend the XP?
As she's looking at George and saying, we could add the thing on.
Is this in Slack, by the way?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, can I spend a point of effort for
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm spending point of effort, and I roll a 12.
So if you're spending a point of effort, you can actually re-roll without spending XP.
Oh, okay. I will do that then, and I roll a 12.
Roll a 12. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
She... You know what? Honestly, if you can get that contract, that's worth a lot more to me than some weight on a car. I can do. Yeah.
I'll make sure it's the best piece of squid ink farming equipment that
It's not
anyone's
just the
ever
equipment,
made.
it's the convincing too. You've got to do that bit too.
Why exactly does she not want to give you the contract?
She's very protective of Olga Carla. It's yeah, she thinks of herself as a steward of the place. Even though apparently she's never been outside here.
Ah. Who has the contract at the moment? Is there a contract at the moment?
No, there's no contract at the moment at all. In fact, this is why I want it so much, because the only kind of bits, it's been people doing it kind of bits and pieces, and there's only been a little bit of ink around. But
Bit
if
of
we can
squid
get a contract,
tickling.
we can sit there and spend a day or two collecting quite a lot. And it is spawning season soon, so there should be, hopefully, jumping up the waterfalls.
And her main objection is...
Welfare of the creatures, mostly.
Oh. Well, I'm sure we can find a way around that.
Is there any reading material about Sans in the area?
We might have a couple of bits. George, did you? Yeah, I picked up some books last time we were through town.
Maybe if we have the group of us have a quick look through the books and talk to you about it, then we can really get this device, the most humane squid inking device anyone has ever made, and then we can go and present.
It would be a pleasure. Yeah, actually.
Wonderful.
So, contract signed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Cool. And your other two need to sign as well.
Mazia will sign, and there's like a lovely, she's got a beautiful signature, like really unlike her, but it's like, you know, curvy and very like with a whole flourish at the end.
Mine's blocky.
Yeah.
TB.
Letty sort of looks sideways at Kaliji and is like, do I have the... Am I allowed? Am I part of this?
Yes. You obviously you need to sign. You are one of our companions, one of our crew.
You see a twinkle in Letty's eyes as she realizes she's got you over a barrel. But she grabs the pen and draws a very lovely little illustration of a knife, and then the word dilettante, which is her full name.
Of course it is. Right, that sounds good. George, the wax. George, little candle, some sealing wax, a stamp with it's been beautifully made, Merianoake M.
Nice.
Yes. Right. That, as far as I'm concerned, is official. You need to go get to work. And we should go and have a discussion with our friend outside if you wanted to.
Nimrock. Nimrock?
Nimchuck.
Nimchuck. There we go.
Yes,
No.
let's do that. Trenton, are you okay with research?
Yes, I'll be fine. That's what I do.
So, who do we want to go with first? In fact, actually, it is just about past. So we could break now and come back after the break with these discussions and research.
Sounds good.
See how we do.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we will be taking a short break for about 10 minutes. We'll see you at about 25 to. See you in a bit.
See you later.
and welcome back. We're going to cut to outside, where Nimchek is sat on their cube, dangling their legs, looking up at the sky. And then suddenly, Clegy and Matilda are standing outside. Matilda looks up and says, "Hello. You didn't say, Large Allen. Hiya. Good to see you." Nimchek looks down and says, "Ah, yes. I wasn't expecting to see you so soon. It is a pleasure." Hops down. "I am Nimchek, at your service." Tries to figure out what to do and then remembers handshake. Yes. Matilda shakes hand and says, "Well, your friends have managed to secure passage for themselves, but then forgot to mention you until the very last moment."
Oh, it wasn't that quite like
So
that, but
mean.
separate contract.
It wasn't quite like that. It very much felt like that to me.
I'm so sorry, Nimchek.
It is not a problem. We can figure out what we're doing now. I can pay. Says, "Oh, right. Well, that's a lot easier. Shall we call it 10 shins to Noru and then renegotiate?" 10 shins I can do. I can do 10 shins. Will this be able to go on a cart, or will we... we're gonna have to do a little more for that. We might have to up it to 20 if you want to bring that on a cart as well. Right. I am a little short on shins. I would not be able to bring 20. Well, if you can bring it yourself, we'll quite happily just bring you along and feed you for 10.
I mean, surely we can come to some sort of compromise. It seems a lot of work for Nimchik to bring that along physically himself. Presumably you have space.
Might slow us down considerably.
Are you coming outside as well then?
Yes, because I'm the one who knows how to get out.
Yes, indeed. Good point. Yeah, so I presume you told
And
Clegy.
books are boring.
Indeed, Vizier, very good point. Yeah, yes, we wouldn't want him to slow us all down. So there must be some sort of negotiation. Maybe we give you... How about we give you 2 shins now, and then, if we are successful with the psalms and the ink, then maybe you might consider the amount of ink you get sort of a discount on the price of carriage. And otherwise we'll find the cost some way once we get to Nauru.
Give me a persuasion roll.
I will.
Difficulty
Is this
4.
a social interaction?
This is definitely a social interaction.
Is it a pleasant social interaction?
I would call this pleasant.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'll have 2, please.
Yes, you
2
would.
assets.
This is what your character's built for.
Not much else. And what difficulty is it at the moment?
Difficulty 4 down to difficulty 2, so 6 or more.
It's a 19.
Yes.
Oh yes.
She looks back and forth, looks at Nimchek, who's somewhere in the region of 7 feet tall. Looks up. Nimchek looks down, kind of meekly. "You can make yourself strong, can't you?" "Yes, I am able to do so. I quite adept at physical labor." "Yeah, that'll do. I'll get a contract signed up for you, and yeah, you can join us on the way." "Well, you're staying out here?" "Yes, I do not enjoy Wislayn. I will be sitting out here until such time as we leave." "Cool. We'll be inside if you need us." "Pleasure doing business. Been a productive day. See if we can make it all the way." Inside Wislayn, George takes you back to the stall where the kids are bored again. You see Aldo out front is still trying to like capture the attention of some of these people. It's not working.
Letty, would you like to come with me, or do you have other things you'd like to do?
I'll help out. There's not a lot going on out there, and
Excellent.
I'm a nano too. Might be
Exactly.
something I can help with.
Sure you can. My friend here, Les, is also very, very resourceful. Resourceful? That's possibly the best word.
Right, yeah.
And
Full of resources.
exactly. Well, let's see if two heads better than one. Let's see what we can do.
Right. Sorry, I went Scottish there. We've brought the books, haven't we? Asks Alia. Yeah, we've got some a few kind of ring-bound things and a few tied together with string. One with quite a nice backing, but mostly kind of thrown together. Right. These are the ones we've looking to get. We've got a place we're staying at with a table, if that would be useful.
Very useful. Have you already started constructing the device?
No, we were planning to get the blueprints approved and then start the construction.
Okay.
Yeah, he leads you down a few alleyways into a fairly small, cloth building. A few rooms, a few bedrolls, very sparse. Most of what they own seems to be on the stall. And he spreads out books and spreads out the blueprints. Right, let's get to work.
Cool. I'll just pour through it, looking for things that stress out a squid.
Yeah.
And things that stress out a squid too much. And then try and find that happy medium of, size and maybe build in a little bit of a flange is the word I'm going to use.
Okay.
Which I think is the correct term. Just so, the big ones can fit in as well as small.
Yeah, we're going to call this some kind of intellect roll. The books will give you an asset
Cool.
because you thought to ask about them. That's good. What else have you got?
And again, hold on.
This is going to start at difficulty 5, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm skilled in planning and organizing, and I suppose this is,
Yep,
using materials to plan and organize.
3 or more.
Yeah.
Sorry, not 3 or more. Level 3, 9 or more.
I'll spend 10 minutes before we get started. I'll spend 10 minutes setting out the books and the papers just the way I like them, the way I always study. I have my books on the right. I have a notepad on the left, and this is just how I always set things out. And if I spend 10 minutes doing that, and if I can, I'll take the Robin Hood hat and put it on.
Of course.
Helps me, I feel like it slightly empowers me.
Yeah, so sort of as you get in there, like Letty was like, by the way, here, I've got this for you.
How does it
Puts
look?
on your head.
It's a little small.
Dashing,
Perfect. It's just-
I believe, is the term that our good friend George was looking for.
That's what I was going for.
I can just picture these two very different research styles. One of the very organized Trenton, and then one of the slightly more perhaps chaotic Letty. Trenton's spending all this time setting up, and Letty's just flicking through, being nope.
Apparently, if I spend 10
floating
minutes,
upside,
yeah, exactly.
Letty's floating upside down, sort of with a book in hand. Occasionally looks up to you at the floor.
It's actually quite useful. It's like another surface. I've got all the books available to me. It's nice.
I'm going to give you an asset for that.
If I spend 10 minutes organizing an area to my liking or following the plan, then I get a free. It's a free action. Forget that.
Free action. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got planning and organizing asset, help from Letty.
Yep.
Asset brings it down to 3. So it brings down to
3,
3.
2, 6 or more.
Great. I'll stuff it. I'll put a level of effort in as well.
Okay. Yeah. Dropping
It's
that
gonna be a
down.
1. It's gonna be a 1. It's gonna be
It's
a
not.
1.
It's a
It's
3.
not.
It's a 3.
No!
I'm so glad.
It's hard.
3 different dice.
It's hard to think in this place. There's no background noise at all. Like, normally you'd think, yeah, no background noise, that's great. But you're realizing you need like the hum of other people working to get this.
Yeah, I mean,
But after a little while, it begins to click.
nice.
You start sketching and drawing, and George has some quite decent tools for drafting. He's mostly been sat in the corner doing ledgers while you've been doing that.
And I'll throw I want to involve him as well. I'll throw some ideas out just so that he feels like I'm not taking over.
I'm a numbers man. I'm not an engineer. Much more of a. Well, this is my comfort zone. Points at the accountant ledgers.
Well, I believe we've got it to the stage now where there is very little stress to the psalms and maximum extraction of ink for you, but maybe we don't mention that, and just mention and concentrate on the welfare of the beasts. There are no sharp edges. There are no areas that are too tight, and there is no social stresses as well, from what I can tell from these books. So they should all behave. It shouldn't affect them in the short term or the long term, and they should go on and spawn as normal.
That
From
all
what I can
sounds
tell.
like a good plan. We've just now got to convince the Ghostis and see if that works. I really do appreciate the help. As much as it is a transaction, I appreciate it.
Oh, it's satisfying, What? There's no point in doing a half job. May as well make this as good as it's going to be.
At this point, Matilda arrives with Mazia and Clegy. George looks up and says, "Well, it looks like we've got everything we need if you're all ready. We can call the Ghostis now if you want to."
Oh,
Yes, I think if you fill us in and
Yeah, I'm going to brief everybody before they do,
Okay.
just because there are people slightly more skilled in persuasion than I am. And I'll just give a 5 bullet point summary of the improvements and a few selling points.
if it comes up, mention things like animal habitat and natural stimuli for whatever you're making spook the to stress the things. Make it as natural sounding as possible. Emulate the wild. Animals like that.
Animals do like that. And how about use the word ecosystem. Use the word, and I'll flick through the book and I'll find some very complicated words that this book has used about psalms, and I'll equip everybody else with these words.
Get used like this, like the Latin equivalent of like the Latin name or something.
Yeah.
Matilda, anything particular about the Ghostis that we should be aware? Any behaviours or words that they do not approve of?
She's a. Well, I mean, she basically controls all of the inside. Like, she can chuck you out at a thought and lock you out. So don't offend her. She seems to, as I said, be a steward of the whole of Orga Kala. Even if some people disagree with that, she seems to think so. So don't question that, I guess. I wouldn't mention Abella if you could. That
Who?
seemed to go down bad. Oh, Abella's the Lord of Nauru. He's at the other end. He's got a bit of a reputation. Not very friendly to traders, shall we say?
Indeed. Okay. Which one of us do you think should present the new idea?
That's not a question. I've only just met you, so I mean, you've got the techie, and you've got a bit of a silver tongue.
Oh, please. I really don't. Letty, I think maybe it should be you. You understand what Trenton's done, right?
Yes, broadly.
Good. Yeah, and you can explain it in terms that non-Trenton like people can understand.
I could present. Yes, I believe. Trenton, can we go real quick? Just less stress, more good, right? Is the bare essentials.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line. Yeah, sure. I can.
I think if you just jazz it up in your own special way, I think it'll be great. Now, obviously, we've had Mazia suggest about the ecosystem. Trenton's done the thing. So if I can just sort of bring all that advice together and say to you, you're going to be wonderful, marvelous, sell it, then I think we'll be good to go. Can that count as good advice, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, yes, the way I'm going to be doing this is going to be a difficulty 7 roll.
Whoa.
But I'm allowing basically as many assets as you can think of that you've done, prepared, we can apply to it. So, that good advice counts as 1 asset.
Yay! 1 asset.
So, yes, the Matilda looks up at you. Are we ready?
Always get a little bit of nerves before a show, but yeah, sure.
Right. Looks at the door.
Roll up the blueprint. Oh, but yeah, roll the blueprints out. Get some good lighting on it.
Mazia
Snaps.
touches the thing to get a little spotlight and
Nice.
everything to make it look really fancy. We make it look like we know what we're talking about.
Mhm.
I might call that an asset. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yes,
Give everyone
Matilda-
pencils to put behind their ear.
Clegy takes the pencil and sort of goes,
Sorry.
pops it back down.
Gets a bit of blue tack and just sort of sticks it to the side of your head.
No. Very delicate.
Yeah, Matilda turns and looks at the door, and the ghostess just materializes.
So cool. So
May
cool.
I enter your abode? Yes, you are welcome to our abode. Please come in. Ghostess.
Welcome, guardian of Orgurkala. Most noble steward, Ghostis, pleasure. I am Dilettante is my full name. Those who know me well call me Freshwater Letty. They know me by many names. We have done some design work. We have done a little bit of consultation for our good friend George here and Matilda. And we believe that we have a design that will be amenable to your needs in this situation.
Close the book and just push it.
Please present your designs. 7. Good advice. Good lighting. I'm counting it.
Is it
I
a
have-
good device as well? Does
Device
it,
counts.
yeah.
I
What's your
have an
persuasion?
asset to. I've got persuasion. Yeah.
Difficulty 3.
I'm going to put 2 levels of effort in because I can do that with intellect now.
Cool.
So how
Down to
much do I spend?
difficulty 1. So it would be 5 for 2 levels of effort, reduced by
Okay.
your edge.
Okay, so that's. So I'm down to 13. What's the difficulty now?
Difficulty 1.
Okay.
Come on,
Can
you've
find
got
another
this.
asset to make this free, or do you want to roll?
I would like to roll.
Okay.
I think it's fun to see.
Yeah.
See
How
how
many
much the
times you
dice
can roll
hate
a
us.
2?
I'm just curious. We can't keep having bad. I'm
said
gonna
out
touch
loud now.
wood. Yeah, I've said out loud now. Oh no. Okay. 16.
The ghostess listens to your arguments, your pleas, your explanations. Floats towards the blueprints on the table, and the mask lowers to look at them. If you draw up the contract, I will put my name to it. Matilda behind goes,
Letty sort of like nudges George, like, quick, Basil.
oh, right, yeah. Pre-drawn contract, of course. Signed. I would wish the designer of the device to sign the contract additionally.
Yeah, I'm happy to. In fact, I'm ecstatic too. It's like, yes, it's one of mine. There's a Brooks stamp on it.
Please tell me you have an actual stamp of like.
I wish. My father has one. I am yet to earn my own stamp.
What colour are your eyes as you sign this? With
Mine?
the stupid feather, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. The greyest grey.
Question: did you take your shoes off while you were presenting
No,
this?
not at all. No, but I don't think I was moving around much, so they're changing colours. But there isn't. I don't think they're making sounds.
Mighty Ghostis, is there anything else that we may be able to do for you on our travels?
Take care of what you see in the sheer. Be a good steward.
Indeed. Most wise.
We'd be delighted to.
In the sheer.
Well,
The sheer.
Okay.
Oh, well done, Letty. That was superlative. I literally do not know what to say. You were mesmerizing.
This
Letty's like
sounds-
slowly sags, like slowly lowers to the ground as the tension leaves. Ghostis is very intimidating.
Aye, that she is. But you held yourself together very well, and I have a feeling that the negotiations in Nauru might go your way. You're making a very good first impression. We're planning to stay here for maybe a day more. You're welcome to join us in this or camp outside, up to you. And we will be leaving tomorrow, about dawn. So, sorry, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, about dawn.
How can you tell when it's dawn?
Well, the town seems to know. The people in the town seem to know somehow. So we've just been working off them.
Oh,
Or we could
I
get
think-
Rhodes to come and wake us up.
I think if it's okay
Circadian
with you,
rhythm.
I'd quite like to sleep outside of the town.
Aye.
Agreedo.
I, on the other hand, would like to find somewhere with a bed.
We are going to cut to about a week later.
Does this mean
You're leveled up.
Oh yes, indeed, it does.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Many sleeps
any sleep?
in
So,
the sheer.
so that means I can take my other two recovery rolls, yeah?
Yeah,
That I haven't already
yeah.
used.
Like you all have had many recovery rolls. Everything's back to full.
Everything's back to
Yeah,
full.
it's week.
E-
It's a week later.
Okay, and even with like new points in your pool,
Yep.
you go back up to full, yeah?
Everything's full.
Alone.
I think the minimum is like 28 points. So no, it would be 56 points. So yeah, you will have enough points.
That's good.
The sheer, much to nobody's surprise, is two sheer walls of rock 72 miles apart. Exactly 72 miles apart for the whole length of it.
Question, Ed. How are you spelling sheer?
Sheer.
Thank you.
The well-trodden path in the centre, you don't see too many people on it. You pass maybe one person going the other way. And there's a pleasant nod. The carts, the 3 carts which the Merianoake family use to transport their goods, are these kind of wooden covered carts. You like Oregon Trail style covered wagons. The cloth they're covered with is some kind of synth, this plasticky thing, which you've noted on 2 of them has a button which clicks and it becomes entirely clear to show the contents. On the front cart, where Rhodes sits with Thanik leading the Calaptor, Thanik being the entirely biomechanical beast, sit an array of gems, which has been described to you as some kind of weather divining thing. It gives you about an hour's notice of when rain's going to happen, or when high winds, things like that, by different gems glowing in different combinations. There's also an orange gem at the bottom, which you were informed that if that glows, you are to alert everyone as immediately as possible. That is an indication of great danger coming. Haven't really described what the danger is, they've just said it's bad. We're not sure what it would be, but it's bad. These carts, by the way, aren't actually rolling on wheels. They've got a little thing attached to the bottom which lifts them up to float over the terrain. The wheels are still on them and they're just kind of turning slightly with the wind. It looks like they've been hastily put together, these carts, cobbled together over years and years, bits attached as they find them. And the pass through the sheer has been pleasant enough. It's less sunny, a lot more windy, the wind being funneled down this. Seems to be blowing from the inside out, so you're at least travelling with the wind. But yeah, the camping, the ground is hard. It's not great, but it's not awful. About this time, you're about halfway through. You start to see waterfalls in the distance, and Rhodes turns the caravan to the south to get closer to the walls of the sheer. And over the next day or so, you reach the edge. And here, these waterfalls raining down, with the occasional wet slap of a squid landing. As you can see, these very pale squids, the psalm, in the pools at the bottom of this waterfall, jumping, leaping up the waterfall, almost like 100 meters up. Some of them manage to stay in the waterfall and keep leaping up like salmon, only vertical. Quite a lot of them miss and fall out and slap back to the ground and start rolling back into the pool to have another go. It's a weird sight.
What colour are they?
They're
Are they kind of translucent?
Yeah, translucent, pale thing. And you can see a lot of them green, like, thing in the centre, presumably the ink sac. The other thing you notice is the group of people sat around one of these pools, taking squid, gutting them, taking out the ink and putting them away, under the watch of 2 very, very burly, long-haired figures. You can see one has a Verid strapped across the back, and the other one is holding a buzzer, this thing that shoots buzzing discs. One of them also has kind of a leather peasant's hat. It flaps over the ears. And on a very tall chair, behind a couple of carts, kind of an umpire-style chair, a very short man, curly grey hair, balding in the middle, watching them over and occasionally shouting an order down. Matilda looks to all of you and says, Well, you've earned your keep so far. Hopefully this won't get violent, but can I count on you if it does?
It's not in the contract.
We don't really deal with violence, but we'll do everything, necessary to protect us and yourselves. I think that's all we can say.
That's appreciated.
I assume that's Lord Abella.
Oh, no. Lord Abella, no, is a lot bigger than that. No. The caravan is brought to a stop, and Matilda shouts to the people, "Hey, what are you lot doing here? You don't have the rights to this." One of the big figures turns round and says, "We've got an edict from Lord Abelor that we can harvest the ink and sell it 50-50 profit split." Yeah, I don't care about the profit split. You have no right. And they start going back and forth, arguing about who has the rights to these squid. The contracts are proffered, and it doesn't look like the ones who are currently getting the squid are going to move at all. At least not under Matilda's word.
Good sir, might one inquire whom you represent?
The big one looks back at the one in the chair, climbs down the chair, and walks out to you, meets you kind of halfway. I represent myself.
And who might you be, sir?
Camben.
Camben. Uh-huh.
Camben Traderson. I am from a long line of traders. I have made a name for myself, and I have the rights to these here squid. I do not recognise any claim from inside Orgakala. They have no jurisdiction over the shear. It is outside their lands.
Now, that is interesting. Because they say exactly the same thing about Lord Abelor's lands.
Right, okay. So, get squid from another pool then. Leave us be.
Well, I would very much like to do that, but
Why
it seems to
can't
me
you?
that you're killing these squid, and that seems less than ideal.
I mean, it's pretty quick. Pretty ideal to us.
Not necessarily ideal for the squid. And what about next year and the year after? You kill all of these, where will the next lot come from?
Then the ink will be rare and we'll make a killing.
You seem to be making a killing already, and not in terms of profit.
Very clever.
Ah.
Your point
Well,
being?
I'd like to see your contract, please.
Whips out a very official looking thing. It is beautifully illustrated. Seals, like 4 or 5 different seals. You notice all with the same coat of arms. So it's just one stamp done 4 or 5 times. Ribbons. Beautiful Lord Abella's signature. It is a work of art.
Does look more official than our contract.
Told you should have got a stamp.
Can I?
5.
May I peruse a little in detail?
You may look, you can't touch.
That's fine. I'm gonna get up right close to the contract. How is the contract worded?
Very carefully. Give me a roll.
Ooh,
Insight roll.
an insight roll.
Yeah.
Prepare for insight, damn it. Okay. What sort of level am I looking at?
Kind of level 3-ish.
Okay, I'm gonna put in 2 levels of effort. If that's
Okay.
all right.
absolutely.
I feel this might be useful. And oh my god, it's a 20. Damn you.
Oh,
You can see the weasel wording in this contract that basically the contract doesn't really say anything other than Lord Abella will get 50% of the profits for the squid they collect, the ink from the squids they collect. Official enough for you?
Just one question. It doesn't actually give you permission to get the ink from the squid, does it?
He's reading and mouthing the list to himself.
I think you'll find it gives you permission that any squid ink that you get and sell, you will give 50% to Lord Abalor.
Right, but how would you get the squid ink? Of course it allows us to do.
Oh, literally, it does not say that. You have literally signed a contract that any squid ink that you get, however you get it, and sell, 50% goes to him. I mean, I don't know who negotiated your contract, but you might want to have a little word with them about, negotiation and the finer point of details in a contract. Now, if I may demonstrate, and I pull out Matilda's contract, you can see here it is quite explicit in that it has been given us, we have been granted permission by the Ghostis to take these squid and extract the ink from them without harm.
In a sustainable manner.
Thank you, Trenton, in a sustainable manner. And there's nothing about pricing here. We are just able to do it. So, I ask you, in this case of extracting ink from squid, whose contract is
Sans.
actually correct?
I mean, beautifully flowery words. I can't argue with that. Who's going to stop us? You?
Well, I mean, I would hope that you would allow logic and clarity to guide you in this situation.
That would be nice if we were in a town and there were the guard about. I don't see any guard about. Oh no, I see 2 guard. They work for me.
I mean, you say guard. I say yes. Anyway, well, I feel obliged to step in, and to be honest, it's not actually about the contract. It's about the fact that you're killing these innocent little creatures.
In squid.
Yes, they are squid, and they have a right to fling themselves up and slap down as much or as little as they want. It is not for us to intervene.
Squid are people too.
I wouldn't quite go as far as that, Trenton, but yes, they should be respected too.
Have we got the machine? Have we built it?
Oh yeah. You built it on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to, pull your people away and stop fiddling with the squid.
It's out of my hands. I can't tell them what to do.
I thought you said you were in charge. Either you are or you're not.
Well, I mean, I can suggest to them what to do, but I can't actually physically stop them from doing this. Unless I wanted to get into some kind of, physical altercation.
Can I have a quick chat to George?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the back. Well, and Matilda if she's there.
Yeah, Matilda. Yeah.
I'll just kind of whisper while this conversation's going on. I say it could be that you can we could come to some kind of agreement where you extract the ink year after year, sell it to them, they can sell it on, and that way they're going to get, should be able to convince them that they'll be able to get an income for the next 10 years. They'll be rich. You'll be rich. The squid will be alive. Ghostess will be happy.
Honestly.
Surely they can see logic
That's
in
not
that.
a bad idea. They seem very profit motivated.
But so short-sighted. You know, convince them to think about the long-term
Honestly,
opportunities.
I know. Why do you think we do such a big loop? By the time we come back to stuff's grown again and we can sell it again. Just takes a while.
Not if you
no.
completely eradicate the population.
George kind of big hand on Matilda's shoulder and says, "Yeah, go and suggest that to Clegy." Matilda walks up to Clegy, says to this figure, "Can I talk to my associate for a minute?" "Do all the talking you want. Do it over there." Turns on his heel, curly grey hair flowing round, whipping round, and then heads back up the ladder to the chair, where he sits back, and you see him occasionally looking over at you. Trenton's made a very good idea, but if we can convince them that we could sell them this ink for a profit for us, and then they sell it for a greater profit on our route, saves them time and effort. We might have to, I don't know what kind of numbers they're talking about, but we have to figure out something.
You'd want to enter into a contract with this?
Honestly, no, but I don't like really having, arguments with people on the road when they've got big fuck off swords.
Yes, I do see your point. Well, obviously, I in this matter I work for you, so okay. Well, let's try and negotiate. How about Mzia, Letty? Cool. You could.
Wazir has just been like poking around their stuff. Like, she's not going too close because but she's wanting to see what they've been up to, what they've got, and how long it looks like they're going to be staying. So she's just staying clear of the people, but looking at their stuff basically. Anything unattended.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like they've got much in the way of stuff actually. These 7 figures who are kind of crouched around the pool, gutting these squid, are very plainly dressed, kind of grey mostly, although splattered with bits of green now, getting shouted at every time they get splattered with a bit of green. Kind of eyes downcast, not looking very happy with themselves.
Yeah, hearing Clegy, she'll wander over.
Sorry. Maybe you two might have a little chat with those group who are harvesting the ink there. Maybe you could find out what they're being paid for their efforts. See whether they're happy with their current employer.
They don't look it. They look miserable.
Well, indeed, but that could be for many reasons.
Sure. I'll toddle along. They say you can't grift an honest fellow, and these fellows do not look particularly honest, so might be a few words that can be had with them.
So if you go and try and talk to the people kind of squatting around the pool, you'll get kind of waved off by the big fellas. They will stand in front of you and glare.
I'm going to start bringing the device off the wagon and just start building it.
Okay.
And by the pool, and just let's crack on with that.
Yeah. Again, the big ones. One of them will basically just stand wherever you want to put this device. Just stand in your way. And the one on the chair. Look down and smirk every time you try and move it somewhere else.
They don't have anything, any devices on them, anything electrical. They're just using basically knives here, aren't they? There's
Yeah,
nothing fancy. Yeah, okay.
Basic buckets and knives.
Yeah.
Okay, so Clegy, having observed what's happening with the two fellows, and bearing in mind there's only two of them, so one's obstructing Trenton, one's trying to obstruct Letty and Mazir.
Yeah.
So I'm going to then, with Matilda, go up to the umpire chairperson. Did we get his name?
You did.
Yes.
Camben
Traderson.
Thank you. Oh yes, Cam. And start talking to him. But I'm going to try and get it so that his attention's fully in us, i.e., that he cannot see either group, and hope that my distraction of him will mean that that at some point one of the guards is going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a roll for that. That's brilliant. These guards are level 3, so 9 or more.
Okay. Does it count as a social interaction? I guess I'm not actually interacting with them.
No,
him.
I'm not going to count this.
Yeah, fine. And is it intellect again?
Yep.
I'll put a level of effort in for intellect.
Lovely.
Because now I've got an edge, I can actually afford a lot more. Yay!
It's great.
Oh, come on! That was a 19! Damn it! It was 9. It's a 9.
9 is still good enough. So, yes, after a while, which one of the two guards do you want to distract?
I actually want to distract the one talking to the people, so Letty and Mazir can get the lowdown.
Yeah, because if you get that machine down, you might start stealing their stock. That's not good. So, of course, that's the one that has to stay. So, yeah, you engage Camben with this... I guess it's kind of semi-fabricated discussion, claim, whatever you are doing. And eventually clicks at one of the guards to come over to stand threateningly behind you. Matilda looks a little kind of skittish at this, but seeing you're quite confident, still looking around nervous. Leaving Mazir and Letty to have a little chat. Mazir and Letty.
So what are we doing? We're talking to the 7 men who were sort of under guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, weren't we? I'm confused as to what Letty's doing exactly.
So I asked, Clegy asked Mazir and Letty to go and find out, like, how much they're earning to do this, like, and maybe why they're doing this, like, are they having to do this, i.e., what is the situation here with the fact that there's 2 guards and then this guy in charge.
So, how much are they paying you today, chap, fellas? Take a moment. They're not going to stop you for a moment. They're otherwise engaged. Chapped fingers you've got there.
Well, yes. We're paid in food and board. So it's a very good deal for the work we're doing.
Only food and board, and they're going to make a lot of profit off this sort of thing. Do you guys have? I don't know. Are you members of a union of any sort, or?
Well, no, we're not members of any union.
Right. You ever heard of a union? Just a quick question here. It's the thing that they had in Eshlav for a while.
One of them turned around and said, "Yes, my father was a member." Alright, but we've got some
Sorry, my headphones have just
Oh,
stopped working. Give me 1 second.
no worries. That is an inopportune time.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Hello. So, yeah, the one you're speaking to says, well, we owe a debt to Camden, and so we're repaying the debt with work. It's a fair deal.
What's
as
the
we
debt?
see it. Yes, Camden bought out quite a lot of our... Well, we had a business, and we took some loans and made some bad decisions, and ended up in the hole for a fair amount. And Camden bought the debt and has agreed to let us work it off while providing us food and board.
How long do you have to work it off for?
Well, until we've paid back. I think it should be another year or so.
How much did you owe?
Yeah.
And you've got confirmation from him that how much you've earned, you've worked off so far. Yes.
Yes, we've seen the ledgers, and we've seen how much we're getting paid, and it's all fair. It's all, yes, it's good.
He seems like a man to me who keeps a pair of ledgers, and one of them for him and one of them for everybody else.
I haven't seen another ledger.
You wouldn't have. This seems unfair, but I'm not sure we're gonna get anywhere here, Mizzy, with these fine fellows. I empathise with your situation. I've been on the indentured side myself for a while. Any thoughts, Sunshine?
Doesn't seem like they have much of a choice, but I'm not sure if Matilda and George are in a position to buy them out or anything. And if we stopped them doing this work, they'd just have to do something else, I suppose.
It's a situation where I'd quite like to... There's a man here whose non-existence would be beneficial to everyone around us right now.
That is true. Nazir's going to try and catch Cleege's eye. Presuming that if she's facing, or he's facing us, and she's just going to sort of like shake her head a little to let her know that we didn't make any ground with the gutters.
Well, what would it take for you to give up this area for us to use?
More money than we're going to make selling these.
And how much money will you make selling these?
Ooh, now that's a question. I think I can probably sell one bladder of these for 10 shins each, and we've got somewhere in the region of 50 now, so we're talking about 500 shins right now. Is the lower end of what you'd have to offer us.
Right, 500 shillings. Does seem an awful lot, but then I suppose 250 of that goes to the Lord, so I guess it's not so much. Obviously,
Exactly, 250 would go to the Lord, no matter what you paid us.
So interesting. So, how does the Lord check how much you've sold?
I keep very, very comprehensive ledgers of all
really?
transactions.
Oh, all transactions.
All
Interesting.
transactions.
And whereabouts are those ledgers?
Pat's breast pocket. brings out a small red leather book.
That's a beautiful little book. Do you know, I think it might be time for a little bit of food and drink. Would you maybe like to join us?
You're going to need to roll to convince her, because that is a change in tact.
Well, that seems a reasonable change. Well, I just...
You're still going to need a roll.
All right.
It's only div 2, but you're going to need the roll.
That has to be a pleasant social interaction.
That is definitely a pleasant social interaction.
In which I am not just trained, but specialised.
Oh, in that case, it is free. You do not need to make that roll. Down to a level 0 task.
You know how to offer a drink to
I know
someone.
how to offer a cup of tea.
Yeah,
damn it.
exactly.
You will drink the tea.
Yeah, you notice that the carts in the background have the floating has been turned off, and they are now sitting on their wheels, and the kids have brought out a blanket and are starting to like get meal stuff out because it's about that time anyway.
Yeah.
Looks over at them. Have you got better rations than we do?
I'm not sure they'd call them better necessarily, but different might be a
They're
better
from
word.
inside, right?
Yes, they've
Oh,
come.
they're going to taste better. Yes, I will take some food.
No, please, let's sit and I do some sort of tea service ritual. You know, very sort of Japanese
course.
style, very welcoming. While I am doing tea service, I sort of beckon over to Letty to sort of come towards me.
She drifts over.
Oh, Letty, would you be a diamond and maybe go and fetch something from, my pack, where,
Very well.
where I like to keep my important paperwork, like
Aye.
sometimes, I like to have it in my pocket up here, and other times I like it in my pack. But maybe you would be able to, I don't know, maybe get some important paperwork out of my pack, though I might be able to look at it. Does my really crappy get anywhere with Letty?
Letty, you tell us.
Yeah, Letty knows this is a little clumsy, but she recognizes someone giving her like a mark when she sees it. She is she's a career pickpocket.
Yeah, I hoped. Anyway, so so if you wouldn't just mind grabbing something from my, I'm sure Kumbun Travelson would love to see this unusual oddity that is in my bag.
This point, Nimchek's come over and has helped make the tea, and they've actually got in quite an animated discussion because Nimchek is feeling not smart today because they needed to be brought burly to help with squid stuff. So very talkative, and so they've been chatting about tea, and so basically missed that whole thing.
Man, carry on. That tea is lovely, isn't it? Refeed into Nimchek's talk.
I'll be right back with your delightful oddity. Do you have an oddity in your pack that I can bring back?
Yeah, I have. I've got a my oddity is that wristband that vibrates in the dark but not in the light. Literally found no use for it, but I put it in my bag.
Why is an oddity?
Letty knows exactly where it is.
Obviously.
So she drifts off, and then sort of comes back, and sort of like she sort of comes down, sort of sets herself down to the side of Camben and sort of comes round behind him and it's kind of like, allow me to this wonderful oddity that my compatriot here, it's a wristband, and so if I just put this on your wrist here, and she sort of comes up behind him, and sort of like very gently puts it on the wrist from behind with one hand, and as she's sort of touching, she's trying to misdirect the touch.
It's
and
the
then
watch trick in reverse.
Yeah.
It's the watch trick in reverse. So she's in his personal space, and she also has the benefit of being able to move stuff with her mind, with gravitational force.
I'm going to take
So I
this
think she's
pickpocket roll. It's going to be a level 3.
Cool.
Because this trader is indeed still level 3.
Yeah. So I've got, I'm trained in hedge magic,
Mhm.
which is what I'm going to be trying to use to lift it,
Sounds a little
while both my hands are occupied. And I've got stealing. I've got a training in stealing.
Yep.
and
Definitely
performing
stealing.
sleight of hand. Yeah. So yeah. I also get an asset after palming and switching items, which this would probably be.
Yeah, an asset on the next thing.
Yeah. So if I succeed, then I'd get an asset.
You need
Okay.
3 or more.
Okay. That's a 5.
That's a 5.
Single digit club. We're doing okay.
Would you like to take 2 experience points?
Ah.
I would. I love an experience
First
point.
one this session. Give one of those to somebody else for a reason.
I'm gonna give one to I'm gonna give one to Trenton for his very dogged work on the machine, and just a picture of him continuing to be trying
Still
to
doing
put this
it.
machine down
Yeah.
as the guy just sort of
I've-
steps.
I've worked around bullies before. I take the approach of just out like stamina. Basically, we're going to give up eventually. Even if I have to put this machine together 7 times, I'm going to do it. And I will take the opportunity occasionally if I'm hammering something. If he goes too near, I will slightly miss and go.
Of course. At which point, we'll lift up your machine, set it back 10 paces.
Sorry about that. Won't do it again.
Go away. So yes, you do manage to get the ledger. However, you also manage to get the entire contents of the pocket, which includes a loose thread, which pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls. It's actually been trapped inside one of the books until such a point as the bottom lining of the jacket opens up and loads of coins start falling out. Shit. Terribly sorry. My jacket seems to have fallen apart. Looks around and sees Letty. I'm going to need another roll to hide those things about you, because you've got quite a lot more than you expected. 2 diaries and a cipher.
Ooh,
Oh jeez.
nice.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I've got misdirection and deception and performing sleight of hand. So yeah, I'll go. That's 2 assets, is it?
That's 2 assets. This is going to be a little harder. So it's going
Yeah,
to be a
just a
level
little
4.
bit.
So we're down to
Cool.
2.
I'm gonna put some effort into this.
Okay, down to 1. Or are you going to do 2 levels and guess it for free?
I'm gonna. It's more interesting if there's a possibility. No,
Okay.
I'm gonna rescind that effort. I'm just gonna roll.
Okay, 6 or more. Speed roll.
15.
15. You are a consummate professional, and you've got big sleeves. So yes, books up sleeves. A little red one, and a little green one, and a little blue one. And this like ceramic pill type thing about this big. Also goes up your sleeve. You're very careful not to break them, just in case. But yeah, he turns around and starts scooping up this. You points at a guy. Help! Trying to pick up these coins and all this kind of padding between them to stop them jingling in the coat. Yeah, he's very concerned about these coins. completely distracted from whatever you're doing.
When you say a lot of coins, are we talking like 20 or 2 or 3?
We're talking in the region of 50.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, what are you doing? Eventually, all the coins will be.
Yeah. So I'm gonna like try and help him. Look like I'm helping him pick up the coins, but obviously being a bit clumsy about it. Picking one up, about to give it to him, accidentally dropping it. You know, pushing them like roll. So carrying on with the sort of coin distraction, and like trying to. I don't know how Kliji does this because he literally has no eyebrows to do it, but somehow sort of like makes eye contact with Letty to go look at the fucking ledger while he's distracted. Like that's all I can think of to do, and just like and again just goes back to the coins to try and keep him, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sunshine, I think I've got a needle and thread back there that we can help our friend here with. Would you mind helping me come and look for it?
I will illuminate the area for you. Things like that, you know. And yeah, I will go and help flick through one of the ledgers. Is there a different is there like opening like just the first page of each of them? Does it have any information about what is contained in the ledgers? Also, I'm loving the very slight plopping noise every so often in the music.
The occasional squid just landing.
I spent an afternoon looking up flesh sounds, so... Anyway.
That's one of the best sentences I've ever heard.
Love to see that history.
Yeah, you're on somebody's government watch list now, Ed.
Epidemic
It's time
Sound
to Google
gave them to me, so...
Flesh slap.
Slapping squids.
I've got flesh chop, flesh slap, and flesh crunch. Those are the 3 different kind of flavours of flesh sound I've got.
My favourite 3 flavours of Dorito.
Anyway, these books, 2 of them, are almost identical ledgers. The red and the green are almost identical ledgers. The 3rd book, the blue one, is poetry.
That's unexpected.
Quite bad romantic poetry. Written in the same hand.
Flicking through, does it look like there is a particular theme, or other than romance? Like, would I assume that it's possibly directed at a singular person?
I'm not going to ask for a roll for this. You can feel it. Yes, but the person changes throughout the book.
Ooh.
Most recently, it is a fair maiden with hair as straw crossed out, spun gold. Yeah, it's horrible. It like waxes lyrical, but like it's not good. You can figure that the object of the affections at the moment seems to be some daughter of a town like alderman kind of thing. Obviously probably not going to happen, but still writing poetry about it.
Is he reaching a bit? And what about the difference? You said they're almost identical ledgers. What is different about them?
One has a lot more money in it. The green one has a lot more cash written down.
From what sort of ventures, or is it an accumulation?
The ventures are pretty much identical. There's the occasional thing in the green ledger that's not in the red ledger, that's usually a payment. Often marked as oil, or sometimes axle grease, which doesn't appear in the red book. but mostly the green book is just higher numbers from what's in the red book.
I'd say that oil is palm grease.
Not sure what that is, but you're probably right.
Aldo stood, leaning against the cart as you're looking through these books. That's a pretty smooth operation you got there.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm not going to say anything if you don't.
I wasn't planning to. You got needle and thread up there? I've run out.
Yeah, we probably got something. Yeah, there's all sorts in the back. Comes back with a needle.
Cool. Zia, if you're sure that these are different, perhaps we should get the input of our friends by the pool over there. Do you want to go do that, or do you want me to go do that?
Is there anything about this indentured service in the ledgers?
There is.
Are they different?
They paid off their debt about 6 months ago.
Oh yeah. Then yeah, I think Mazia would casually saunter over to our friends, our nice friends by the river, and show them the ledger that still has their indentured service. And she just sort of nodded, and she just said, "This, out of curiosity, I'm assuming this is the ledger that you've seen. Shush, just one moment of your time. One moment. That's all I ask. This one, yeah? Just a nod.
Yes.
And then I suppose you've never seen this one before." And she's just gonna have it open on the page and just show it show the closest one.
Revolution!
I'm gonna cause a riot.
So, excellent.
We didn't start the fire.
But yeah, the page is about the fact that they've already paid off their debt, and he's been shafting them.
Yeah, there is furrowed brows and glances. They get one of them to come over, who has some broken glasses, who peers at the numbers, flicks a page or two. Bastards! Do you have a plan?
Well, firstly, let's just put a pause on this. But maybe pick up the dead ones and just stab them again. And this will be yours. She'll say about the ledger. She wants to give it to them, so that if they need any proof. And she's then, depending on if Kliji is facing her and if Camben is facing her, she'll give again. She might just she'll shine in a bit of a light or something, and it would just flicker up in a little colour, like a green. She'll probably flick up just a little green spark to Kliji.
Kliji, I guess, has just been, it's still doing the coin thing.
Absolutely.
He's
come
down
back
to
with a needle
the
and
last
thread.
3 coins, and he's still being completely oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, at this point, the big one just puts a hand on your shoulder and just pushes you back.
And I just catch Mazia's. Oh, Letty, you brought the needle and thread. Please, sir, I am not too bad at the sewing. Maybe I can repair your jacket for you.
I'll get one of my employees to do it.
Oh,
Okay.
one of your employees. Which employee would that be?
One of the ones who can do it.
Sorry?
Does it matter to you? One of the ones who can do it.
Oh, I'm just. Are these 2 in your employ as well?
Yeah.
The
Of course they are.
And can I just then completely ignore combat and speak to the guard? How long have you been in this gentleman's service, may one ask?
3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And how did you come by such a glamorous role?
Looking for work and pays good.
How much does he pay you?
10 a week.
10.
Shins a week.
Really? Is that all?
Better than we can get most places.
Wow, 10 shins a week. Well, okay. Good question. If I was to give you 15 shins right now, would you be happy to sort of walk away from your current employer?
Give me some kind of negotiation roll. This is going to be about level 5.
Are you talking to the one that's by me?
No, this is the one who was guarding the people and is now come to help pick up money.
Yeah.
Who now just has like a bag of money belonging to
That's
the.
it.
I mean, it's
Oh,
not
God.
bad money.
Can I say that Letty's starting to like sidle over to the one who's by Trenton?
Yeah,
I was actually going to say, I'll shout at Letty. Letty, can I maybe have a cup of tea? No one's offered me one yet. We've all had tea. I haven't had one.
Okay, so negotiation, is that a social interaction?
that is definitely a social interaction.
So that's 1, and then how much have I got left? Sorry, I'm putting 2 lots of effort into
Okay.
this. I intend to get my man, okay.
So 5,
So-
4, 3, 2, 6 or more.
Come on, mate.
No one rolls lower than 6.
It's a 6! It's a
Oh,
6!
perfect. Sufficient.
Jeez.
We've been rolling exactly what we need today. No more.
Sometimes less.
Glance to Camben. Glance to you. Have you got a counter offer? What? What? I am giving you steady employment. I will keep paying for you. This is a one-off. Yeah, there's 15, and I can go to work for 10ish. But frustration is now like building in Camden. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. I presume this includes help back. Yeah,
Sorry, help back. Sorry.
to town.
Oh, well, I'm sure we can. And I'll look to Matilda.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find a way of getting you back there too. Yes, that would be fine.
Okay. I'm
Why don't
listening.
you take it out of the coins that you literally are holding in your hand right now?
That I will not do. That is theft. Hands the coins back.
Oh, of course. So, honestly, so honest. It's lovely to see. I literally don't have 15 shins on Clegy, but
Nope.
but I'm gonna smile and hope. I look to Matilda and go. Is it possible we could give the man some money?
While Matilda's thinking about that, I'm going to cut back to the pool and see what's happening with Letty and Trenton.
Did you bring me a cup of tea?
As she was drifting over towards, as you said that, she sort of like reached a hand back, and a cup of tea sort of fell into her hand.
Okay, good.
She sort of like passes it over, and she's just sort of got an eye on the guard. She's like, "Are you doing all right here?"
And I was leaning against one of the posts, cup of tea in hands.
I'm doing what I'm paid to do.
Letty, what's going on? What's going on? I saw Mazir talking to the people, and they've stopped. And then all the coins fell out, and then that guard looks like he's gonna walk off. What are you
Your
doing?
man there's been fiddling the books a little bit.
He's not an honest gent. It's disgraceful. I misread him completely. I kind of just, I obviously don't understand people that well. Well, what are we going to do?
Well, we're hoping that we can settle this without our friends there getting too excited about things. Hey, follow me, lad. What's your name there?
Graham.
Graham. What an outlandish name.
Typical mercenary name.
Interesting. I'm Letty, and your employer there might be having a little financial difficulty in the near future, shall we say.
Is that a threat?
No, it's the fact that he's not keeping accurate books. What I'm saying is, it might not be in your best interest to be associated with him in the near future, on account of the fact that he's likely to not be able to pay you, pay anybody, and he's certainly been swindling the young gentleman over there out of their income. They don't actually work for him, they just believe that they do.
This is going to need a persuasion roll. Same difficulty, difficulty 5.
Okay.
I'm trying to think how I can be of use and not really come up with anything at all. You could probably find much better gainful employment rather than bullying somebody to make trying to build a machine on the shoreline. Come on, think about your career aspirations. You can do better than this.
So you can assist
Graham,
without being skilled by making the same roll. If you succeed on that roll, the other person gets an asset. So you can make the difficulty 5 roll.
Yeah, why not? And if I fail, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't affect.
There's no negative. No.
No,
That's a 5.
Yeah, listens to you and goes back to Letty.
That was a kind thought you had there, Trenton. Very, very thought through.
Just trying to, think of people's career aspirations. He's wasted. Where's his job satisfaction?
I gather he doesn't actually mind particularly. What is it that you want to do with your life, my dear fellow?
Graham.
See the world.
See the world.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a caravan planning to go to the Steadfast. You ever been to the Steadfast?
Yeah.
I was going to ask, hey, how would you feel about coming with us for a while? Getting to see the sights?
Gonna need that roll.
So I've got persuasion.
Down to a level 4.
Ooh. And I'm going to spend 2 effort for this one.
Okay.
I'm going to put all my winning charm into this. So that's 5 minus 2. That's 3. So that brings me down to 14. Okay. So that's 2 levels of effort. And I roll 15.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Looks at you, looks at the commotion with the coins in the distance. Can my husband come too?
Is that your husband?
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a sweet couple.
Thank you.
That's alright. You just seem perfectly made for each other. Yeah. Why not? More the merrier.
Yeah, seems like that.
And with situations like this, we could do with a pair of strapping young men of your kind disposition for the ride. People will think twice about coming along a caravan, and you will have to do half the work.
Okay.
Graham, was it?
Yeah. great.
Letty, freshwater Letty.
And folds his arms for the first time and sticks out a hand to shake.
And she shakes.
Absolutely. Camden by this point is going ballistic, arguing with the other guard, like shouting back and forth, not agreeing to pay any more money, but just shouting about loyalty and all that jazz. Hasn't noticed the book missing yet.
I'm so sorry. I completely just ignoring Hannah. I didn't get your name, sir. I feel that we should know each other since we will be travelling together.
Girton.
Girton. Oh, what a fantastic name.
Call me Gert.
I would be honoured to do so. And my name is Kliji, and this is Matilda, and this is Nuchik. And, yes. I don't feel we need to sort of carry on with this gentleman here. I think we can all come to some sort of agreement that maybe your fellow workers can come and take a bite to eat, and we can get on and sort out the squid.
The camera's looking at you, and you see Matilda in the background. Well, you don't. The audience sees. As you say this out, and I presume Mazir is kind of hearing the conversation.
Mazir's sort of like behind the back of all this. She's been like encouraging everyone to just start packing up all their stuff.
Yep.
And anything that they can make any sort of claim to, whether it was initially theirs, it might now be theirs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just sort of moving all of their stuff from his sort of from their sort of like camp, just sort of moving it so he's basically left with nothing.
Yeah, Camden
Not
has
nothing, but
noticed
nothing.
and is now like physically trying to take the buckets of ink. Of course, one of them lets go of the ink at the perfect time and splashes himself over with green indelible ink.
Oh, if only I had that glitter right now, that bag of
Oh
glitter.
yeah.
Damn it.
Well, Aldo still has it,
Yeah. You pay him a shin, he'll give it to you. But yes, the indentured servants, all 7 of them, kind of collect their stuff from the pile and the small cart that Camden had. They don't have much, but they take like shares of rations.
Yeah.
They leave enough for Camden to get back and all that. And, like, then they're not They're vengeful, but they're not murderous.
I would have encouraged them to, as payment for their service that is no longer indentured, that they can take the oil and the ink that they've collected.
Yeah, absolutely.
As payment for them.
Yes, Camden stomping around impotently as everyone who works for him leaves and joins your caravan. We have just hit 11 o'clock about 5 minutes ago, so I think that is a perfect time to leave us as you set up the squid collecting thing, spend a day or two collecting as much ink as possible, and letting these Psalm go about their days, leaping up waterfalls and falling back down them. We will finish on a last little image of the caravan, now 9 people larger, making its slow way to Noru. Is another week later, we see at the front Rhodes and Matilda leading the caravan. You see George on the second caravan doing ledgers and accounting for all the ink you've got. You see in the third, you've got Alia has been doing beautiful drawings, and actually there is one sketch of Camden jumping up and down in rage with a splash of green across him. And the 4 of you chatting with Graham and Gert as you trade stories about travels. As we see Noru in the distance, the edge of the sheer, passing you, the wind fading somewhat. And we're going to leave it there.
Amazing work. Love it.
Was that fun?
That's so impressive.
That was good. Great work, team.
I'll be honest, I had no idea what you were going to do with them. I just kind of put the situation like, sure, go.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did put my flex skill as like animal handling because I had every intention of finding a way to make a squid ink pleasurably. I never got to do it.
You know what? Give me that roll. We're calling this a difficulty 9.
Okay, and hold on, I'll just go with my skill. No, nothing else.
So it's a difficulty 8, so you need to roll a 24.
Yeah, I got a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But damn it, I tried.
You tried. And,
Can I get you to
Matilda-
re-roll that? And can I spend XP to see if you can re-roll it? And I'd like to.
With the intention of getting a 24.
You can't roll a 24 on a d20.
You can add. You can put some effort into it. Come on. You've got books to help you.
No,
You can
it's
do
fine.
anything. You've got books.
It will be something maybe I can learn later on. Maybe I need more education.
Yeah. Well, can you bring one with you in the tank, and you can try and.
Yeah, can we
Take
bring
it.
a couple of Sam with us from our travels?
Yeah.
You can sit in the
think
back
Matilda would
and
allow
make them
that.
eat
Just gently
pleasurably.
massaging a
Yeah,
squid.
exactly.
There might have been a couple that had gotten a little bit hurt in the with the daggers, like
Yeah.
so we might need to look after a couple
Yeah.
and
Of course.
release them. We could take those.
I can literally see Clegy every night
What a
is
hobby.
out massaging a squid before he goes to bed.
Such a good hobby.
Right, on that lovely
Yeah.
image, we are going to head off, I guess. If you enjoyed our particular brand of chaos, come and join us in the Discord where we chat a lot of shit. I think we were talking about the D&D equivalent of a bear shitting in the woods most recently. Don't know what that's about. So, also, we're going to do a raid, but I don't know how to do this because I don't use Twitch all that much. So, I'm going to find the button after we say goodbye and go to the end screen. Does anyone have any last words?
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.